Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Ranking Member.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Once again, it is good to see the qualifications of the members in front of us here at this time. Mr. Fick, the deployment of secure fifth generation or 5G networks is critical not only for U.S. networks but throughout the world with our allies and partners. Meanwhile, countries like China pose a serious threat to our foreign allies and partners through companies such as Huawei. The FY21 NDAA established a multilateral telecommunications security fund executed by the Secretary of State to support the development and adoption of secure and trusted telecommunications technologies with our partners and allies. Appropriations for this fund were passed as part of the CHIPS legislation last week. If confirmed, how do you plan to use this fund to work with our partners and allies to develop secure and trusted alternatives to Huawei, and how will you leverage this fund to encourage development of innovative new technologies like open radio access networks known as ORAN?
Thank you, Senator. I strongly share the sentiment expressed in your question and believe very strongly that global telecom security is essential. I believe that the U.S. cannot do it alone by its very nature. This is a global network of hardware and infrastructure. And if confirmed, I would work to deploy the resources appropriated in the CHIPS Act. I think from my seat still on the outside looking in, I applauded the passage of the Act. Two particular examples for consideration might be partnering with the European Commission under the Trade and Technology Council in order to finance the deployment of secure infrastructure to third countries. That's something that I would very quickly want to explore. Another example would be expanding work with the Quad countries in order to promote open RAN deployments in the Indo-Pacific. And you have my commitment that I would engage with the committee and with Congress before and during any implementation.
Very good, thank you. Ms. Kerhonen, just last week, the State Department ordered the departure of non-emergency U.S. government personnel from Mali due to heightened risk of terrorist attacks. Regardless of how long this ordered departure persists, if confirmed, you will serve as Chief of Mission at a high-risk post for U.S. personnel. How will you approach your role as Chief of Mission in this environment where, despite significant challenges, the staff of the U.S. Embassy have important work to do?
Thank you, sir. My first priority absolutely will be the safety and security of American citizens and mission personnel. The attack on July 22nd was just about 10 miles from the embassy. The situation is serious, and we must proceed with an abundance of caution. I believe my experiences in the past at serving at high-threat posts will serve me well if I'm confirmed. I also understand that Mission Bamako enjoys high morale, and if confirmed, it will be my goal to sustain that positive work and life experience while we navigate Mali's myriad challenges together. Thank you.
Thank you. Ambassador Tamlin, what's your view on the prospects for credible elections in DRC next year?
Thank you, sir. Well, the Congolese have the right to free, fair, and on-time elections, and they want that. And we know that the path to a more prosperous and stable DRC lies through a good election and a consolidation of their democratic experience. It's a country with immense challenges because of the size, the logistics that are needed. The institutions, we know, are weak. If confirmed, one of my highest priorities would be to immediately review the planning that is underway to prepare ourselves and the country for elections. And there are three things in particular that we need to look at. The first is progress on national preparations. How are they doing in terms of voter rolls, procurement, the census that may need to take place? The second thing is, how is our assistance helping in the right places? And then finally, what is the enabling environment? You can't have a credible election if there's not an even playing field for all of the candidates, and if rights of freedom of assembly or freedom of expression are not fully supported. Finally, a credible election just doesn't happen overnight. It's something that you need to be preparing for and planning for a good period of time in advance, and that includes messaging to the government clearly what our expectations are. So I hope to be able to do that and also work closely with international partners so that our messaging is strong and consistent across the board.
Thank you. Mr. Chairman, I do have questions for the other nominees, but in the interest of allowing our other members to move forward, I think I'll defer them and allow the other members to ask questions first.